Do you know what it sounds like when your family claps for the end of your marriage? I do. It sounds like a backyard in Pennsylvania. On my 55th birthday, you do not need my name. I am 55, and I ran freight trains for 27 years. Conductor, then engineer, then back to conductor when my knees got loud. Railroad money is good money if you can live with the hours. I could. The hours are the part of this story that matters, so hold on to them. 4 nights a week, I slept in motels, 2 states from my bed. My wife and I had 24 years on the books. We have 1 son. He is 26 and lives 2 states away. He is also the only person in this story who never let me down. I also have a younger brother. He is 47. He has lived in our mother's basement since his second divorce. I co-signed nothing for this man, and that detail saves me later, but I carried him. When he was 19, I paid off the loan sharks at his first garage job. When his first marriage folded, he slept on my couch for 5 months. When his second one folded, I bought him a work truck so he could keep doing drywall. You will hear about that truck again. And while I was gone 4 nights a week, my brother was the man my wife called. A ride when her car was in the shop, a hand when the gutters clogged. I asked him to look in on her, if you can believe that. I handed this man the key to my marriage and felt good about it. So, now, the party. This past spring, my wife threw me a birthday cookout in our backyard. Her idea. She planned it for 6 weeks. 38 people came. Her sisters, my mother, my brother, the neighbors, 2 guys off my crew. She rented folding chairs and strung lights through the maple. She even ordered a cake with a little train on it. That morning, she asked me to wear the blue shirt she liked. She set 2 chairs at the head table and said one was for a surprise. I thought the surprise was a gift. I stood at my grill flipping burgers in an apron my son mailed me as a joke. At 4:18 in the afternoon, my wife tapped her glass with a fork. Toast time. She thanked everybody for coming. She talked about 24 years, about how people grow, about honesty. I remember smiling like an idiot with a spatula in my hand. Then she turned and looked right at me. She said, which is why everyone here deserves the truth. I have been in love with someone else for 2 years. He is here today. And she reached out her hand, and my brother stepped forward and took it. The second chair was his, my brother, in my backyard, at my birthday. Sit with what happened next, because it is the whole reason this story exists. People clapped, not everybody, but her sister started it. Then a cousin joined in, and then my mother, my 78-year-old mother, put her hands together for them. Somebody near the cooler actually said, finally, 38 people in my backyard, and the sound that followed the end of my marriage was applause. I did not say anything, not one word. I turned off the grill. I am not the kind of man who burns down his house to make a scene. I took off the apron and folded it over a chair. I walked inside and locked the back door behind me. Through the kitchen window, I watched my brother put his arm around my wife. The party died in about 20 minutes after that. The neighbors left first, fast, the way you leave a stranger's argument. One of my crew guys stood at the door for a while, then texted me, say the word. I texted back, go home, brother. Poor choice of words, but he knew what I meant. My wife knocked on her locked door at 7:40 that evening. She said the 2 of us owed each other an adult conversation. I watched her through the glass and did not open it. She left in her sister's car. My brother drove home to our mother's basement with my mother riding shotgun. The little train cake never got cut. That night, alone in my kitchen, I did the worst math of my life. I got out the steno pad I keep in my work bag for switch lists, and I dated 2 years of things backward. The cabin weekend she took with her sister 3 falls ago. Her sister stayed home that weekend. Her sister apologized for that weekend months later by text. The garage door my brother came over to fix while I was on a run. That door still does not close right. He was not there for the door. And the phone bill I paid every month had the whole story in it. 2 years of calls between their two lines, late, long, and logged. I was the account holder. The proof billed itself to me every month, and I never once looked. Then I tore off a fresh page and started a different kind of list. It was not a revenge list. It was every dollar that left my account every month and whose life it landed on. I had been the family wallet for 11 years and called it Love. Line 1, my mother's property taxes, $2,900 a year, every year since my father passed. Line 2, the truck my brother drives, a 3/4-ton pickup I bought at auction, titled in my name. He was supposed to buy it off me at $260 a month. He paid 4 payments 3 years ago, and we both stopped pretending. Line 3, the family phone plan, 5 lines, $310 a month. My wife, my brother, my mother, her sister, and me. I was the account holder for 4 people who watched me get filleted. Line 4, my mother's car insurance. Line 5, the streaming accounts, or whatever. Line 6, the cabin. My father left me that cabin on the lake when he died, along with $84,000. Not to us, to me, by name, in a will my mother keeps a copy of in her hutch. The whole family used that cabin every summer for free. Graduation parties, reunions, my brother's second honeymoon, if you can stand the irony. The $84,000 sat in an account my father opened in my name, at his own bank, years before he died. It never touched our joint accounts. Not one transfer in, not one transfer out. Hold on to that detail, because a lawyer is going to kiss it later. The next morning, my son called me before 7. His mother had already texted him her version of events. He listened to mine, the real one, and he let it sit for a minute. Then he said, "Dad, unplug the machine." So I unplugged the machine. But I want to be clear about the order I did things, because the order matters. I did not cancel anything in anger that weekend. I called an attorney first, because at 55, you measure twice and cut once. A guy from my union locale gave me a name from his second divorce. She turned out to be a 5-foot grandmother who talked like a framing hammer. Her first question had nothing to do with the affair. What is yours? What is theirs? And what are you giving away for free? I put the steno pad on her desk. She read it twice and took her glasses off. She said, "None of this generosity is a court order. Every line on this page is a choice, and a choice can stop." Then she asked how long the list had been running. 11 years, I said. Give or take a tax bill. She wrote one sentence at the top of her notes and turned it toward me. It said, "Stop volunteering. I have taken orders from dispatchers my whole life, and that one was easy." Then we got to the divorce itself, and she gave it to me with no syrup on it. Pennsylvania splits marital property without regard to misconduct. The affair does not move that needle 1 inch. The house, the joint savings, her retirement, and mine, all of it splits fair no matter what she did. I will not lie. That part stung to hear. 38 witnesses, and the property math does not care. But then she asked about line 6, the cabin, and the $84,000, inherited in my name only, never mixed with one joint dollar. The hammer put her glasses back on and smiled. In Pennsylvania, an inheritance you keep separate stays separate. The cabin was never marital property. The account was never marital property. 24 years of marriage, and her side of the table could not touch either one. And the affair, she said, comes back around in exactly one place: the alimony. Misconduct before separation is a factor a Pennsylvania judge weighs. A 2-year affair, announced as a birthday toast in front of 38 witnesses. She said, "In 31 years, I have never had a separation date with this much documentation. A toast is a confession with a guest list. We filed that week. The serving happened 4 days later. A process server walked into the dental office where she works and asked for her by name. She called me from the office phone before he was back in his car. She said, "You filed first," like I had cheated at a game she invented. That same week, she cleared her closets out while I was on a run. Her sister helped her pack. My brother hauled her boxes out of my house in the truck I was still insuring. The neighbors watched it happen from their porches and said nothing. She moved into that basement the same night. Now, the list. I went down it in order, calm as a switch list. I gave my mother 60 days notice in writing that the tax money was done. I did not owe her 60 days, but my father would have wanted it that way. The county bill was hers after that. The truck took 4 minutes and a spare key. My title, my insurance, my truck, 6:25 in the morning. I drove it off my mother's driveway. My brother was asleep in the basement under her kitchen. That is not theft, gang. You cannot steal a truck with your name on the title. The phone plan took 20 minutes at the store in the strip mall. I split my line off and closed the other 4. No warning text. They found out the way you find out, mid-scroll, in the middle of their day. The insurance, I stopped paying at renewal. The streaming passwords changed in one sitting at my kitchen counter. I will admit the passwords were petty. I am at peace with that. And the cabin, I drove up on a day off, changed both locks, and stood on the dock for an hour. Then my attorney sent 1 letter, certified mail, 3 households, 6 sentences. The last one was, "The property is closed to guests indefinitely." Then I went back to running trains and let the machine stay unplugged. It took 9 days for the first phone call. My mother. Not about the toast. Not about my brother holding my wife's hand on my patio. About the taxes. She said, "You are punishing me." I gave her the only hard sentence I had to say out loud in this entire thing. "I am not punishing you, Mom. I am done paying for people who clapped." She hung up on me. We did not speak for 5 months, and I let that be her choice. My brother lasted 16 days before the truck problem found his boss. He does drywall when he works. No truck means no ladders, no compressor, no jobs. He sent me a text that said, "You would really do this to family?" I texted back a single word, "Clap." He did not text again for a long stretch. 3 weeks after that text, he was sitting on my porch steps at dawn. I had been on a 12-hour run and smelled like diesel and bad coffee. He stood up and put his hands out like a man calming a horse. He said, "This got out of hand, and you are hurting the whole family." I asked him which part got out of hand, year 1 or year 2. He did not have an answer for that. He said he needed the truck to work and that I was punishing the wrong people. 28 years of soft landings, and he aimed the last one at my wife. I said that to his face, on my porch, in my work boots. He said, "We did not plan it, it just happened." 2 years is not a thing that happens. It is a thing you schedule. I told him the truck question got settled the morning I took it back. Then I went inside and ate breakfast standing up because it was my kitchen. He was gone when I looked out again. And my wife, my almost ex-wife, called 11 times a week. The phone plan died. All 11 came from a number my phone did not recognize, so the store visit landed. The first ones were about the phone bill. By the 4th, she was crying about how I had humiliated her. She used the word humiliated about herself to me. The 6th one blamed her sister for starting the clapping. The 9th apologized for the toast, but not for the 2 years. Number 10 was my brother asking her to stop calling me on her phone. Then one last one, low and tired, at 11:43 at night. She said, "You were not supposed to just leave. Think about that sentence." She stood up at my birthday in front of 38 people and took my brother's hand. And I was the one who was not supposed to leave. I saved that voicemail for the lawyer. Then I deleted it from my head. Mediation happened in July, in a conference room with bad air conditioning. 4 hours, 2 lawyers, a mediator, and my steno pad on my knee. My wife would not look at me for the first 3 hours. Then she tore a corner off her lawyer's pad and wrote something on it. She slid the scrap over to my side. It said, "This is not who we are." I read it twice, folded it, and slid it back without writing anything. Who we are got announced at a birthday party under the maple with cake. She did not write again. We settled the cars and the furniture in one afternoon and left the rest to paper. The divorce took 7 months and it was almost boring. I mean that as a compliment to the hammer. Her lawyer made one real run at me, and it was at the cabin. He argued the family's years of free summers made it a family asset. He used the word commingled in a letter like it was a magic spell. My attorney answered with 12 bank statements and the deed. Usage is not ownership. A guest is not an heir. The cabin never entered the math, and neither did my father's account. The house sold in the fall. I was 2 states out on a coal run when the closing happened. My lawyer texted me one word, "Done," and I ran my train on time. We split the equity down the middle, the Pennsylvania way, misconduct and all. She took half the furniture, her car, and her own retirement. I took mine. Her lawyer asked for alimony, open-ended. My lawyer answered with the word toast and a witness list, 38 names long. It settled at a number with a 2-year fuse, a fraction of the ask. The truck landed on my side of the sheet, since my name never left the title. My attorney cost $5,500 all in. She earned it twice over. 8 months after the toast, the county tax bill found my mother's mailbox. That is when the begging season opened. My mother went first with a 4-page letter, family, forgiveness, and what my father would think. I wrote back 1 page. I told her what my father would think, since she asked. He put one name on that cabin. He watched her clap from somewhere, and he knows why the taxes stopped. She did not answer that letter, but she stopped clapping for them, I heard, around the same week. Then my brother by text, offering to buy the truck properly this time. With what money, he did not say. The truck was already sitting in my driveway with the for sale sign in the windshield. The decree had been final for a month by then. I sold it to a kid from the rail yard for $19,500. I texted my brother the sold price and nothing else. Petty again. At peace again. I did check on the happy couple eventually because I am not a saint. My wife was still in that basement, a year into true love. A 51-year-old woman asleep under a poster he has had since high school. She picked up extra shifts at the dental office to cover a used car. The cabin they borrowed free every summer sat locked across the lake, lights off all season. My son kept me updated without me asking, the way good sons spy. The basement got crowded by August. Crowded turned into loud by October. Thanksgiving came around, and my son flew to me, not to them. His mother called him selfish for it. He let that one sit too. Her sister, the one who started the clapping, stopped coming around either house. And then my wife showed up at the rail yard gate one evening as my shift ended. She had driven 40 minutes in the rain to stand under the sodium lights. She stood there looking smaller than the woman who gave that toast. She called the affair a mistake. She said my brother was a different man up close and not the better one. She asked if we could get coffee and talk like two people with history. I looked at her and I felt for something in my chest and nothing moved. I said, "You gave your speech at my birthday. This was mine." I clocked out, walked to my car, and drove the long way home past the lake. My son flew in that weekend. We spent 2 days at my father's cabin, replacing dock boards. We burned burgers on a $40 grill and let them burn. He wore the joke apron. It fits him better than it ever fit me. Nobody clapped out there. Just the water slapping the dock posts, and my boy laughing every time I dropped a patty through the grate. Last month, I turned 56. No party, no string lights, no rented chairs, no cake with a train on it. My son called at 7:12 in the morning. He sang half a verse before he gave up laughing. That was the whole celebration, and it beat the last one by a mile. The cabin lock's answer to 2 keys now, mine and his. The steno pad is still in my work bag. Every line crossed out but one. Line 6 never needed crossing out. My father saw to that 6 years before the toast. See you in the next one.